Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first video here on this new channel. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Whatever it is, I'm sure you're going to see it down below. Um, this first video is going to be a D&D 2024 class tier list. Um, this channel is primarily going to be a D&D channel. We might extend out into some other stuff. I don't know. We may see here in the future. But for now, I'm thinking D&D. I wanted to do a D&D channel. I wanted to bring some fresh air to the scene. So without further ado, I don't want to keep going along with the intro. So let's get started. First, we have the Barbarian. So 2024 Barbarian. I think the Barbarian is a great class to have. It has the damage. It has resistance to any damage done to it during rage. It has the rage. It has the rage damage. I mean, you want someone that can literally just get up close to anything and beat the living crap out of it. That's your man right there. Or girl. So, and we're taking in subclasses as like a baseline. So there's that too. Subclasses for the new barbarian, I would say cement it in that great position. And so, yeah, that's where it's going to go. Agreed it is. All right. Bard. This one hurts a little, I'm not going to lie. As you might be able to tell, I'm a real life bard. So, it hurts a little whenever I say that bards are just, in my opinion, good. Bardic Inspiration is awesome. The ability to pretty much do anything is awesome as far as a bard goes. The spellcasting, the charisma of a bard, the roleplay ability of a bard is awesome. However, I don't know if it reaches those levels of being so good that it goes into great. I think maybe there's an argument for the bottom of great, but for now I'm going to have to put it at the top of good. It's hard for me to explain why, but bards for me just actually, yes, it is. It is easy to explain why, because you can easily have any party without a bard. Easily. However, like with the barbarian, if you were to have a barbarian on your team, that would be much more welcome, I think, depending on how your party's set up. Because there's a few of the must-haves that already go above the barbarian that if you have those, then sure, yeah, throw in a bard just for good measure. But I think for that reason, the bard goes in the top of good. Yeah, it's kind of like comparing them to each other. Like, if you have a party, if you had, 4 or 5 people, let's say, and you have 3 or 4 people that have the must-haves, where would the rest of those classes go in the ranking that you would want that last party member to be? Obviously, never tell someone what class they should be. Let them decide. But like there's always that thing in the back of your head that's like, ooh, you could be a barbarian. So okay, yeah. So that's kind of how this is going. Cleric. All right. I think cleric. I had cleric at one point in must have. And I'm not sure if the cleric goes at the bottom of must have or the top of great above the barbarian. So here's the thing. I have a lot of must haves. Actually, no. I have too many must-haves if the cleric is in there. So we're gonna put the cleric at the top of great above barbarian, because the cleric is so versatile in its domains. Again, baseline level. I'm not looking at. We're not ranking subclasses here. We're just looking at baseline. Just overall, how versatile is a class? How is the role playability? Role playability of a cleric is actually pretty good, as long as you know what you're doing. And there's a lot that the clerics can do. Their spells are pretty good, and obviously a life domain cleric is also really nice because you always love the heals. So for that, I think that's a pretty good case to put them above the barbarian at great. Yeah. Next, we have the druid. So the druid is a weird one for me because their roleplay ability isn't too high, at least in my head. They're more like outliers of society, and society doesn't really take them in or welcome them. Or the druid kind of shoves himself away from society. Which, don't get me wrong, can be a really cool idea for roleplay. But their combat abilities as well. Like, I get wild shape, that's cool. But they did nerf wild shape in this version of D&D. And their spells are good, but I don't think there's enough for the druids here. And I haven't played a druid, so I might make an update to this tier list once I have played through all the classes. And maybe I'll come back and be like, I was stupid. Druids go in must have, absolutely. No, I don't think they'll jump that high, but the druids I think are decent. Like, I think that's a fair place to put them. Maybe at the top of decent. We'll see what else goes in decent and then decide from there. Oh, and as far as their subclasses goes, there's some cool things that they did with the subclasses. I don't know if it really constitutes it being higher than the top of decent, though. Purely because I haven't played it. And don't forget, this is just my opinion, so you don't have to crucify me down in the comments. Or do. I love the drama. Okay, so 2024 fighter. Let's see. Where should this go? I'm thinking bottom of decent? No, just playing. Top of must have. Absolutely. Top of must have. The fighter is so good in the fact, I mean, you can tell that the baby is being held very tight to their chest, and they're like, no, fighter, you will be taken care of, I promise. Yeah, no, the fighter has so many abilities that subclasses are so good. I haven't played the Psy Warrior yet, but obviously the Eldritch Knight is a classic. Champion hits harder than a train. The Battle Master is awesome with its just its versatility. It's all around a must-have, and I think it goes at the top of must-have. Whenever you don't see a party with a fighter, they're either a barbarian or a war domain cleric, and that's your version of a fighter. And even then, you probably, unless you, unless your party's going a specific way, you probably want the fighter instead. That's how we're putting that. All right, monk. The art alone, the monk goes in great just below barbarian. Just the art alone puts it there. It's insane how good that art is. Anyways, I'll stop talking about the art. We're not ranking art. So, the monk is awesome. And the fact that it's... I find it hard to roleplay a monk, weirdly enough. But as far as the class itself goes, it's great because as you level up, you get all the abilities of being able, like, well, first of all, your unarmed strike's incredible. You get unarmored defense. Then you get the focus points, and the focus points upgrading how good you are in combat. and you're already great at combat already, but then it just gives you that extra damage per hit, or you can dodge, or you can do the dash, disengage. You know, there's so many things you can do with the focus points, and the subclasses bring even further versatility into the monk. And I genuinely believe the monk is a great class to have, um, because there's so many things you can do with it. Oh, and the bonus of speed, the base bonus of speed, awesome. Going from 30 to 40 feet, I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. So, yeah, I think the bottom of great. I don't know if anything else is going in great, but we'll see. Paladin. Paladin goes right next to the fighter. I think just below the fighter, though. The Paladin is your classic D&D hero or your classic D&D villain, however you want to play it. And it can do pretty much everything. It can cast spells, it can fight, it can heal, it can take damage or never take damage because their AC is 27. um, no, you can't hate on the Paladin. It's so good, and there's so many ways to roleplay a Paladin. A lot of people go the very. I find it funny because they either go the really good or the really bad. And it's a variation of one of those two. I think the best paladins are like right in the middle. Like they're able to skirt those lines of their tenets that make you question, is that really how that works? But yeah, no, yeah, I think everyone would agree that if not the top, then it goes right in the second place of must have. Rogue. Okay. I think a rogue is another must have. Purely because the rogue is the utility belt of the must have group. The rogue allows you to. The rogue hides in the shadows so the rest of the characters can be in the light. That's how I would like to put it. Because everything they do, like if you have a paladin that role plays as a good paladin, they're going to be great. They're a must have. But then that rogue is there either as the foil to the paladin, or they work with the paladin. Whenever the paladin can't do it, the rogue can. Does that make sense? I think it does. And so, for that reason, like thief subclass, obviously, incredible. Assassin subclass, incredible. The other two subclasses, yes. I don't remember all the subclasses here, but the rogue, I think, goes in a must-have. You kind of have to have that utility belt for the group, and without it, I think you're suffering. You can do rogues in a different way with clerics and with monks, but obviously the rogue is a rogue is a rogue is a rogue. It's going to be the best at what it does. So, because of that, I think it goes in a must-have. Sorcerer. Okay, alright. So, Sorcerer. Purely because of the wild magic and the amount of fun that you can have with a Sorcerer, it goes at the bottom of good. Yeah, I like that. The bottom of good. Does it go above a bard? That's a hard one. I want to know what you guys think about that. For me, I think I would rather play a bard than a sorcerer. But I can see the argument as to why a sorcerer would be better than a bard. But in a case, I think you could make the case that they could be pretty much interchangeable with each other. The only reason I like the bard better is because I'm a real life bard. So, yeah. But I think just purely because of the wild magic, and the amount of fun that you're able to have with that, I think it can go. I think a good case it can be made for it to be good. And I think the same thing with a warlock. The warlock, I think, goes. It doesn't go above a sorcerer, but the warlock is good. I like the warlock. The roleplay ability with the warlock is cool. It's cool. I like the fact that you get the three. You can choose between the different patrons, and the spells that you cast are always upcasted at your highest level. So you want to take the most damage dealing spells possible because you can fire firebolt at fifth level and or not firebolt fireball at fifth level and just annihilate everything. Um, and then the joke can be made about Eldritch Blast, but 2024 thankfully made those features or the I forget what they're called. I'm going to call it Warlock features. Crucify me. The Warlock features more versatile to different cantrips now, which I'm happy for because I'm not gonna lie, okay? It doesn't make any sense for a warlock, a fiendish with a fiendish patron, to love Eldritch Blast so much. And I mean, maybe it does, but like I would rather have a warlock that can do more with like fire if you're a fiendish patron than an Eldritch Blast. It's literally called Eldritch Blast because of the Eldritch aberration patron. I believe I'm pretty sure that's why it's called that. So I'm gonna go with that. It's good. It's good. Wizard. I think Wizard. Okay, look. Let's be honest. The must-haves are the four classics. The four classics: fighter, paladin, rogue, wizard. Wizard is again the utility belt, another utility belt, but it's also another hand in combat because I mean, obviously the wizards are able to cast some very powerful spells, but the rogue and the wizard make up the utility belt, fill in the utility belt, and then the paladin and the fighter are there to dish out all the damage and heal. Maybe not so much a fighter, but the paladin can heal. Wizard can heal depending on what spells they take, but I think a wizard's best really for the buffs, the debuffs, and the damage that they can do. So because of that, I think that the quintessential party here is the four must-haves. And Ranger. Look, I haven't played Ranger, although I like the idea of Ranger. I think a Ranger goes above Druid and Decent. I think that's how I like it. Because the Ranger has some cool things. It has really cool things going for it. I like the idea of it. And I want more. And it looks like we're going to be getting more with the new subclasses coming out in the Forgotten Realms player guide. But until we have that, I can't take that into account. The current subclasses, my favorite current subclass is a Hunter, because I think the Hunter should be what the Ranger is, and then the subclasses on top of that. But the thing is, I can't play it like that. I mean, I could just say, oh yeah, Hunter's just the base class, but I don't want to. I like playing by the rules of D&D. I like sticking by the rules of D&D because that's the reason I have the books. So, following the rules of D&D, I think the Ranger is a decent class to play. And I don't have anything below decent, purely because obviously, anybody can play any class, and there's no shame in playing a decent class. I think you can have a decent class and be. You can take a decent class and turn it into a must-have. That's how I love D&D because of that. You can take any class and turn it into a must-have. This ranking, this these tiers are purely on baseline levels. Like as a new player, in my head, this is what it would be like, if that makes any sense. Um, if I were to go up to a new player, I don't want to have people feel like that, you know, oh, I like the first impression thing. I don't want to go up to a brand new player and go, here, this is a tier list. Uh, this is the must-haves. This is great. This is good. This is decent. Choose. No, because obviously they're going to be like, well, obviously I'd want a must-have. No, a new player that's done their research, I think then this is where this comes into play. And then they're able to think about it and be like, okay, yeah, although you can take this decent one and turn it into a really great class. And that's just it. I think if I was a new player playing any of these classes, like if I was a new player playing a fighter, I feel like as a new player playing a fighter, they would think that it would go in must have. Versus as a new player playing a druid, they would think, okay, this is kind of cool. It's decent. And then they go to a wizard, and then this is like, oh, this is a must have. And then they go to a bard, and they go, oh, okay, this is good. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a really good way to put it. It's kind of a baseline of what a new player would think about these classes, I think. And just to let you guys know, I have only been playing D&D for like a year, so I'm still relatively new to it. But I have read all three of the new books, um, and I've played quite a bit so far. And I've played in a few games, and I'm currently DMing my first real adventure. I am DMing Dragon of Icefire Peak for a group of 5, what's about to turn into 6. And we're having a great time. And you'll see those videos too. So, with that, that's going to be the end of this tier list. Yeah, so I'm excited for what's coming up. I have a lot of videos um, coming up, and I have a lot of ideas written down on a list on my computer somewhere. And I want to bring some excitement into D&D 2024. I see a lot of negativity. I don't even care if this gets a lot of views, to be honest with you. I know a lot of the negative news gets a lot of views. I want to look forward to what's going on in D&D. I I want to look past the negativity, and I want to look forward to it. Obviously, if something happens that's so bad and like, why are they doing this? Obviously, that constitutes a um, negative mark against them, and maybe one day there will be a negative video on the channel about D&D. But for now, I think they're trying, at least what I can tell with the videos from the D&D YouTube channel, I think they are trying. I think they're trying to win back the good graces of the community, and I appreciate that. I can see what they're trying to do, and I hope that they keep going with it, because after having only been playing D&D for a year, I think it's a really cool game, and I really like the community, even though there's a good portion of it that can be pretty negative on it a lot. But I don't want to be that. I want to be more positive. So, yeah, I think that's a good note to leave this video on. If you guys enjoyed, there's going to be more videos that you guys will be able to watch when this video is posted. The only reason I call this my first video is because this is the first video that I'm recording. So, with all that said, see ya later.